Hey team, hope everyone's good. I'm going to be talking about the next phase in the strength bias, reap what you sow. To give you an overview, this phase is going to be 10 weeks long, 4 weeks, then a deload, 4 weeks, then a deload. So there's kind of 2 parts to it. The reason why we've kind of cut the length of this phase from 12 weeks, so before we were doing 5 in a deload down to 4 in a deload, is because it's more intense. An opportunity to super compensate and really kind of recover. Just needs to come around a little bit more often. And it also kind of fits well with Christmas as well. So that second week, that second deload, sorry, sits nicely between Christmas and New Year before we start the final run into the Open and quarterfinals. So just to give you an overview of kind of the key points and the key focuses of this phase. So for the weightlifting strength, we're going to peak that. So expect Big Fridays to continue. The first 2 weeks, expect 2 to 3 lifts. So by that I mean there'll kind of be a snatch and an overhead squats. That's 2 lifts. For the clean and jerk, it might be power clean, clean jerk. So like I say, 2 to 3 lifts on the first 2 weeks, and then we're going to drop the reps down for the final 2 weeks and do either straight up hang clean to a max or clean and jerk to a max or just snatch to a straight up max. Okay, so there's an opportunity to hit quite a few different PBs there. And again, if we're hitting PBs or with more opportunity to hit PBs, we're going to start to build some more momentum, which is what we're after, and just build that confidence as well. So like I say, Big Fridays are staying, which is great. So that means that on the Monday and the Wednesday, that day again is more about just keeping the skill refined in. But like we saw last week before the deload, there is still an opportunity to be hitting a heavy single on the Monday as well, but that shouldn't be a max. So if it says heavy single, it should be a number that you build up to, and there should be ideally no misses. Okay. On the Friday, it's an opportunity to build up to an absolute max. So that's when you're going all in. I usually use the rule 3 and out. So if you miss 3 times, that's it, you're out. Feel free to stop before that bit, but that was just a kind of a rough rule that we had when me and Steve were training back in the day there. So like I say, on this Monday session, we're going to alternate between just some waves, EMOMs, again, just ways that we're just going to maximize consistency. Same for the Wednesday as well. There's more opportunity to refine the snatch or the clean and the jerk. And same thing, just kind of refining the skill so that going into the Friday, the lifts are feeling good. And again, we can get the most out of that day. There's an additional weightlifting and strength session on the Tuesday, which is positional based and power based. So expect to see overhead squats with a pause in the bottom. Again, if we're getting used to being in that position longer, we're more likely to drop into it in a snatch, which is great. And again, it's just going to make us more efficient at the lift as well. And then we've got some power work in there. Expect to see that throughout the phase. We'll alternate between snatch and clean and jerk and cleans, power cleans, sorry, power snatch, power cleans. Going forward throughout the first half of the reap what you sow. And then going more into the new year, expect more power sessions when strength goes into maintenance mode, and we're really trying to squeeze out every little drop that we can. And also there'll still be an opportunity to hit new PEBs when we start to look to improve the power more. Leading on from that, squats. So we kind of peaked the squats in the last phase. They'll now be going into more of a maintenance mode, but there will still be an opportunity to improve the strength there. Mondays, for example, I expect 3 to 5 sets of 5 reps. Going forward, that will be based off Saturday's 5 rep max. Back squats are your absolute core for building strength. So again, there is an opportunity through the phase to build the strength, but again, it's not the main focus. The main focus now is on peaking the weightlifting work. Okay. On the Wednesday, there's a front squat session as well. Again, for that one, the volume will be lower. There'll be a bit of a positioning element to it as well. Okay. So that gives you an idea of the strength work going forward. Okay, for this first half of REAP, what you saw. Just to give you a bit of an overview of the second part, things will start to get more specific. Okay, so what I mean by that is expect to see more barbell cycling, in the sense that we'll be getting you to go every 30 seconds, every 20 seconds, more every minute on the minute stuff. Starting to do weightlifting in a little bit more of a fatigue state. So like I say, we'll have peaked the weightlifting strength work in this first half of REAP, what you saw. And when we go into the second, that we've made them up, we'll then get used to lifting our heavier weights, because your max has gone up. Obviously, that means that your percentage work will have gone up as well. So we need to get used to that before we start mixing it in with other things. All right. So that's to give you a bit of an overview going forward there. As well as the weightlifting and strength work, we're going to put some emphasis on upper body strength work as well, in particular strict handstand push-ups and strict pull-ups. And we're going to use post-activation potentiation for that. Most of you who've been on the program or are on the program and have been on for a couple of months will be aware of what this is already. Basically, you do a heavier set followed by a lighter set, and it makes the lighter set feel easier. And again, we're using this for the upper body. So it'll be a weighted set followed by a body weight set. The weighted set will make the body weight set feel easier because we're recruiting more muscle fibers. To give you a very basic overview there. So like I say, we're doing strict handstand push-ups, and we'll be doing it for strict pull-ups as well. As well as that, on the gymnastic side, we're going to continue to do the gymnastic capacity work, again, keeping that interference working, but we're going to be gradually building the volume as we go through this 2-part phase. And we're going to test the 5-minute AMRAP tests at the end or towards the end of this 10-week block. Okay, so expect to be doing more of the same gymnastics in the same session. So before we've been keeping the volume pretty similar. Like I say, as we go through this phase, expect to see it kind of gradually creep up. All right. So that's the plan on the gymnastics front. It's not going to look too different from the last phase, but you just be accumulating more gymnastic reps. On the conditioning side of things, we're going to keep it to 1 threshold session still, 1 aerobic session. We're going to do the threshold session on the Tuesday. So that'll be the harder of the conditioning sessions. We'll put it on the Tuesday because what you've got after that later on in the day, you've not got any kind of heavy work as such. So the threshold session shouldn't really affect what you've got for the rest of the day. And then the aerobic session is on the Friday, and I've put that on the Friday so that it doesn't interfere as much with the weightlifting and strength work later on in the day. So you should feel that aerobic session feeling better, ideally, than what you came into it. And then later on in the day, you should kind of feel fresh and ready to go to hit Big Friday. Okay. We're going to keep that the same all the way through this phase. So one threshold session, one aerobic session. Expect after Christmas, potentially another conditioning sessions kind of come into the mix. But like I say, until we've maximised the gains over this first half, especially, I don't want to add any more conditioning that will potentially interfere with recovery for the strength sessions. Okay, so that's the plan for the conditioning going forward. On the Monday and sometimes on the Wednesday, we've got sprint repeats. So this is a really good check. And what I mean by that is it's going to keep you honest. It's a session where you're just fully sending it and you're fully ending yourself. And that's just going to physically as well as mentally just let you know that you can still reach that very, very high intense limit. Okay. So when it comes to more workouts coming back into the mix, like, you know yourself, right? I can go to that dark place. You know, I don't need to worry as much about the amount of workouts and stuff that I'm doing at the moment, again, because that's not the priority. So yeah, those sessions are really good for just keeping you in check and just reminding you that, yeah, like I can still push really hard. I'll be honest, those sessions do really fucking suck. I remember doing them back in a couple of years back. Again, we're seeing the rest of the crew, and yeah, we'd be mongs, just sat down on the floor, just monging out, just not able to hold a decent conversation after. And that's kind of, you know, what we want from that session. So it'd be a good idea after you've done the push and pull before that, the interference work, get some sugar, have a 10, 15, 20 minute break before you hit those sprint repeats. Okay. White ball workouts will obviously stay in on the Saturday, as well as a workout staying in on the Wednesday as well. But yeah, that's kind of the general plan for this phase going forward. The only kind of last thing is there's going to be additional upper body strength work on the Tuesday. And again, that's kind of just to make sure we're keeping a good amount, like we're maintaining good upper body strength levels with regards to kind of a horizontal pull and a horizontal press. And again, just a little bit of imbalance work here and there, just keep everything, you know, feeling good. So yeah, that's the plan for this phase going forward, for this first half anyway. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop us a message directly or in the group, wherever you kind of feel comfortable. Okay, but be excited for this phase. This is where the big weightlifting PBs are going to come. So on the Monday and the Wednesday, set yourself up, okay, for that Friday, so that when you go into that Friday, you're full of confidence, you're feeling good, and you're giving yourself the best opportunity to hit new PBs as well. Okay, so enjoy this phase, guys. We're beginning to reap all those seeds that we've sown. So yeah, I will catch you all soon.